Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Ashes of Creation stream for July. Oh my goodness, it has been another month. We have been so excited, and obviously, Alpha 1 has kicked off, and it's been crazy for us. We're just trying to keep all the things moving and grooving, and
It
I know that,
has been crazy.
yeah, and love seeing everybody in chat getting excited. Very, very exciting stuff here.
Whose
Um,
idea was it to move back into the studio while the Alpha 1 was going on? Oh wait,
He
oh
might
wait.
be here on the screen. Other people might have
Oh
said
no.
that might not be a good idea.
Yes, it's true.
It's okay though. I think it's been exciting. Obviously, the new office is looking awesome, which we'll talk about in a little bit here. But first and foremost, I just want to get into the things. What we're covering today is reminders. We have studio update, design update. We have environment art and character art, and we have our Q&A as per usual. But we have a lot of goodies for you guys, including a video in the design segment. But I know what you guys are really excited about, so I'm going to just get to it. I already see you in chat freaking out. We do have an announcement for a giveaway. It's probably not even started yet because I haven't announced it. But please, if you are interested in winning an Alpha 1 key, go ahead and follow the Twitch channel right here at Ashes of Creation, super easy pacheesy, and type in the word Alpha 1, all lowercase, in the chat, and you will be in. Do it only once, otherwise you could get booted out, so just one time, should be good. And obviously we'll be keeping an eye on, I know some people are concerned about like bots and stuff like that. We'll be making sure that we draw a new winner if we see those things as issues. So if you see more keys being drawn, that might be why as well. And all winners will be notified at the end of the stream. So just be active, be in chat, hang out with us, and you will have a chance to win.
How many
It
keys are being handed out?
Well, it's dependent on our viewership. So get more
Oh,
viewers in here, and we'll have more more giveaways. Um,
wow.
so yeah, yeah. And of course, on the YouTube side, if you are watching this on YouTube, we do want to give you guys an opportunity to get in on it as well. We are going to give out about 10 keys. So all you need to do is subscribe to our YouTube channel, leave a comment as to why you think you deserve to win a Alpha 1 key, and then you'll be joining us on, or we'll send you a message on August 2nd, and then that means you'll be able to join us on August 5th for that test and forever in the Alpha 1 testing from there on. So, yeah.
How
So
exciting.
exciting. Yeah. I know that a lot of people are like, well, I can't afford an Alpha 1 pack. And we totally understand that. And like we've said before, don't purchase if you are not, if you can't afford it. We really just want to have people who are interested in helping join us along the development. And obviously, you get some rewards in return for that. So I'm going to go quick into our reminders. Speaking of which, we have our Alpha 1 package that is up right now, which is the Zenith Advent, and that will be swapping over August 4th, 2021 at 11 a.m. So if you're interested in this package, a little homage to the ducks for Steven.
Oh, that's
Aw,
so
I
sad.
know,
You
I'm
just remind
sorry.
I totally that was out of my mind and now I remembered.
I'm
Looking at the
sorry.
little baby duck
They
there.
were so cute. But
They
this,
were
he'll
cute.
forever be with us now that we have
It's
this,
true.
right? Um,
Yeah, I like the little flower hat for the duckling too.
Right? I've just seen so many memes with that duck. I was like, we have to have a duck with a little flower hat. It's too cute. And of course, if you're interested, go ahead and check that out over on our website. We also have our FAQ about Alpha 1 in there if you're interested in reading that. And also, if you still have any further questions, you can reach out to us through our support Twitter or put in a CS ticket and we will assist you further on that front. Beyond that, we've got our dev discussions. We've been really enjoying seeing everybody leaving us comments and discussing things with us. I know that we do also have a lot of Alpha 1 discussion going, but beyond Alpha 1, we have a lot of things that we're working on, like guild systems and things like that. And so we're very interested in, and obviously guilds are so important in an MMO. So we really want you guys to get involved. And so this one is a two-part question. One is for guild members, what kinds of information do you look for before joining a guild? And for guild leaders, what kinds of characteristics are you looking for in new guild members? Now, what this is going to help us do is we do want to have a lot of recruitment systems within our game and on our website. And so like this is going to help us make sure that we have all of the features for you guys in those systems. So please, please, please leave us comments on that. And of
Have
course,
you
oh, go ahead,
Oh,
Stephen.
sorry. Go. No, no. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Hey, you sure? You don't want to say anything?
Yeah, I was
Go
just going
for
to
it.
ask if have you ever led a guild, Margaret?
Oh, Steven, have I ever led a guild? Here's the thing. I have been in so many guilds where I'm like, oh, I'm just going to be a healer, or I'm just going to be a tank. I'm just going to do that. And then I
That doesn't
think you
last
know
long.
me. I'm just too much of like an OCD person to
I
let
know.
processes go forward and be like, why is this chaos? And then I always end up becoming an
Yes.
officer, and then people leave.
And what
and
did
then
you look for in guild members when you recruited for your guilds?
Well, I am one of those elitist people. I'm
Oh,
unfortunately,
you're so toxic,
I know, I'm
Margaret.
unfortunately, because all the guilds that I've really been in growing up, maybe not so much now. I feel like might be more casual. No, I don't know. But previously, when I've always played, I've always just wanted to be world first, right? Like be the best on the
Oh
server, be
yeah.
in the best guild on the server. I've always been in like the top guild or the second to top guild. And so from my perspective, I'm always looking for people with high attendance, people who meet our criteria in
Yeah.
regards to like damage or healing or whatever it might be. And then obviously just people who can follow directions, because
Oh yeah.
that is like the worst thing, to be in a raid with people who just like are not paying attention. And then obviously,
We used
being able to
to,
hear and speak is,
yes,
or be able to like communicate,
be
I
on
guess.
comms.
Yeah, some form of communication, whether
Yeah.
that's text or voice or whatever it might be. We try to accommodate for all people, but you need to be able to
I
do the
always used
things.
to I always used to have like, so in my guild that I led for, gosh, I don't know, 16 years, 17 years almost,
Yeah.
across many MMOs. I would just recruit based off of like personality, but I would have like contingents within the guild that were very elitist or were more casual or were like, crafting and farming and that kind of stuff. And I wanted everybody, but if they were like an elite kind of, wanted to do world first and that kind of stuff, they would be delegated off under a
Like a
particular
different
officer into a
subcategory.
different exactly, and that
Yeah.
would be like our strike team, right? And they would be like, you'd have to have different types of tryouts to get into those departments, we would call them, essentially.
Hey, I mean that works too. I think people do all kinds of things. For instance, when it came to like PlanetSide, for instance, so that was a little different. We definitely wanted as many people, but we had departments, right? We had like our armor,
Oh
our
yeah.
our infantry, and even within those, we had like very specific things that they were doing. So I can see
Yeah.
that working. I think it just depends on like what type of guild you want, right? I always focused on like that end game raiding content for
Oh
me,
yeah.
so I just wanted like a tight knit crew that got shit done, I guess is the best way to put it.
Hmm.
Did you have like a like a membership process? So for instance,
Yeah.
like they had to apply first and then they had like a
Yeah,
little
yeah. So
trial period.
so what would happen is, the usually either a recruiter who was reaching out or applicants that would want to join, saw us on the server or whatever, they'd have to submit an application, fill out a form on our website, right? And
Yeah.
then one of our recruiters would kind of, based off of their interests in the game, would assign them to a particular officer of one of the departments, and then they would go through that department's interview
Steven's like running
process.
a company.
I know.
You think I'm
like
bad?
like for example, one of our coders, Alex Kudoli, he was one of my commanders, and he led the mercenary team, which essentially would like go out and seek like services from other guilds out on the server that needed either help escorting their trade runs or participating in sieges and helping along those things. So he would like be an outreach person, talk to other guild leaders, and he would recruit people that was like, that were typically ready at any given moment to participate in those types of events, and he would put them through like PvP kind of testing and fighting the leaders and the officers and stuff. And then based on that, they would get initiated as a recruit and then eventually become a member. And then they could see opportunities as a sergeant or an officer under him. And then I had multiple, what I would call commanders, that led each of the departments, and they would have their own officer corps. And then that's how kind of we split it up. But I mean,
Keep in
we had,
mind, Steven's guild was massive, so
yeah,
that's why they needed that much
we
structure
had
in
like
order to keep
17,
chaos from
I think we had like
ensuing.
17,000 people in the
Yeah.
guild at one point, so there's a lot of
And
people.
I'm over here with like, we've got like 40, 50 people, depending. Well, I mean, EQ days, obviously there's a lot more people, but I think it depends on like the game that you're playing and how many people you need to raid. And then you need backup people just in case, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's, we're going
That's
off
fun.
on a
I love
tangent.
those discussions. I love the guild discussion. Sorry, I took us off on a tangent.
No, it's okay. I like chatting about it too, but I think me and you could talk about just game stuff
Oh
for
yeah.
ages. But beyond that question, our next one that's coming up next month is going to be about new player experience. And this is so important, I think, especially if I know that we do have some people who are like, this is going to be my first MMO. Really kind of give us as much information as you can. Or for those of you who have been through lots of tutorials or lots of gameplay experiences, walk us through like what you think is important for new player experience. Obviously, we have things in mind, but we want to make sure that we're, on key with what you guys think as well. And of course, we also have our guild gatherings, which are specifically about guild stuff, because like, as we said, guilds are very important to community. And obviously MMOs are really all about guilds. It's all about working together as a group, whether that's a small group like I prefer or a massive one that Steven prefers.
Well, to be fair, that we didn't have like 17,001 game, right? We
That's
were
true.
a guild for 16,
Multiple
17
orgs.
years over across many different MMOs, and over that time, the email list builds, the forum group builds, and that,
Okay. In
yeah,
that case, yes, I have been
yes.
part of an organization like that.
There you go. And we had
So
different chapters based on the game, and some of
yeah,
the
we did
commanders
have
would go
that.
and play certain games and stuff. Yeah.
Okay. That's different. I see what you're saying. Um,
No, if we had 17,000 in a single server, that'd be crazy. We'd
yeah,
just
you
be
would just
playing
take
with
over the
ourselves.
server. So for guild gatherings, we asked you, what makes a problematic member for your guild, and how do you handle situations as they arise? What expectations do you set up front, and what are the consequences for failing to meet them? I think a lot of this, obviously, guild conflict can be good things, but it also can be not so great. And on our front, we want to make sure that we're providing you guys the tools that you need to, in game, solve some of these issues as well, which, will be interesting. I don't think there's a lot of games that do that. So we definitely want your opinions. Toss those over to us over on the forums right now. We'd love to see that. And next month, we'll be asking you about your ideal guild members. So definitely stay tuned for that. We're curious to see what you guys have to say on that front. And moving on from there, of course, we want to remind you of the upcoming playtest. Obviously, right now we are in Alpha 1. We are going until August 13th. So we really appreciate you all joining us. There's actually a playtest right now going on Thursday, July 29th at 11 a.m. It started, and it will be going till Monday, August 2nd. And then we will also, continue to have more testing up till August 13th. And if you are an Alpha 1 key holder, you will be joining us post Alpha 1 for like spot testing too. So, stay tuned. It's not just for Alpha 1, but that is kind of the gist of that. I know people have continued to ask that. It's in our FAQ as well.
And to be fair, just to expand on that
Mhm.
topic a little bit, while we will have specific spot tests for certain systems as we develop them post the Alpha 1 month, it should be expected and understood that after this Alpha 1 month, there will be probably a significant amount of downtime where there won't be spot testing as we kind of break apart a lot of systems, take what we learn from Alpha 1 month, and implement and iterate upon those learnings, right? So there's
100%.
there's going to be several months probably worth of significant downtime where there will not be access to spot testing, where we are going to go in and really rejigger a lot of systems.
Yeah, we're excited. And then when when you hop in and play again, it's going to be a new experience. Of course, if you have Alpha 1 access, be sure to check out our Alpha 1 forums as well as Discord. That's going to be where all the information is rolling. We really try our best to be there for you, communicate with you almost 24/7. So, well, during the playtesting, definitely 24/7. Toast and I have been doing our best. And now we have a new homie on our community team as well. So hopefully people are being kind and nice to Vaknar, who is our new junior CM as well. And we're initiating him. He's downloading all the information, and soon he will.
Yes, and a big shout out and hearts in chat for Margaret and Sarah. They have been, or Lieutenant Toast and Luperza, they have been an absolute unbelievable godsend. They are working their butts off and doing an amazing job covering the testing periods, taking crazy shifts. I'm actually sad about the shifts that they're taking, but I'm glad now that they have Cody to assist, and they've been doing such a great job. So amazing work to our community team. Really great job.
Yeah, we know you appreciate it, us.
Absolutely.
And of course, Sarah and I, this is the stuff we love. We love being able to like chat with you guys and hop in game and be there for you and support you, and answer questions. Like that's the stuff that we
That's
love
so
doing.
funny. I
But
said hearts in chat right as I think Sarah put slow mode on so nobody could put hearts.
way to go, Sarah. No, I'm just kidding. There you go. I think she's released them. And she's probably gonna
Release
put them
the
in
hounds.
slow them down again. It's getting crazy in the chat, that's for sure. Which we love seeing. We love seeing you guys all be very active. Also, a reminder that the NDA has been lifted. That means you can stream, you can take screenshots, you can create videos. We've been loving watching all the content. I have actually not been able to watch all of the content. There's that much content right now. I usually watch every single thing and
Same.
read every single thing that's posted. I have a huge backlog of stuff, but we're definitely putting together reporting for Alpha 1 in regards to the content that's being created on our press side, what's going on, and obviously Toast has been putting together a lot of reporting, and so has our CS team. Adam has been amazing putting together reports for our development team in regards to all of the issues that you guys have been encountering, all of your feedback and suggestions, and we will be doing some big reporting towards the end as well. And we will do a recap. I think people have continually asked us like, when will we see the data and what you guys are going to do? So we will be posting something after Alpha 1 in regards to that. It'll be kind of like a recap of what we learned, maybe some data for you guys, some specific data, and then also like what we're doing as we move forward towards Alpha 2. So just stay tuned for that. We'll definitely give you guys that information. We've been very communicative on that front. And last but not least, the last thing I have for quick updates here is just a reminder on the content creator program. I know people have been asking about it. The applications are now open, so definitely go ahead and apply, but we are not inviting new folks into the program yet. We had so many people interested, and obviously we want to support all of them, and we want to give you guys as much love and support to help build our community and create content, that we are actually hiring an influencer relations specialist to help with us. They'll also be helping with a sub program as well that is called the Content Creator Training Academy, and that academy will be allowing people who maybe aren't quite in the content creator program but we know that they could be. We want to give them an opportunity to help them get to the point where they are able to. And obviously not everyone's even going to make it into that, but we will message you whether you get into the program, whether you're in the training program, or whether you don't make it, and what you need to do to be able to reapply again. So we will get back to you. Apologies for the slow. I've been interviewing people like crazy. I'm actually in a second round of interviews because the first round did not supply me what I needed. So our recruitment staff has been like, yeah, we have a recruiter now, which is awesome. It has been,
Two.
yeah, too. It's been exciting. They've gotten me some new recruits, and I've been just powering through interviews. I have like a bunch next week as well. So we're trying our best to get those going as quickly as possible. And once we have them on staff, we'll start churning it out. I think that's all I got on reminders. Stephen, walk us through the studio update.
The studio update. I think as of yesterday, all workstations in the new studio are completed and set up and constructed. So that's exciting.
Yes.
It was touch and go there for a moment because we had some delays with the furniture and we had some
The furniture's
construction
so
issues.
nice, like the stand-up desks. I'm so excited for it.
Okay, funny story. So so this is a very, I mean, it's an interesting story. So we have multiple conference rooms across, the studio, right? I don't know. I think there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's like 7 or 8 conference
7 or 8,
rooms.
yeah.
Yeah, 7 or 8 conference rooms across the studio. One of the conference rooms, the construction crew was finishing up like last touches and adding some of the windows and stuff, and they accidentally removed the door to the conference room on one of the sides, so it only has like one door that's accessible from the entrance lobby. And I walk over there and I'm like, that's strange. Shouldn't there be a door? I mean, how do you get into this conference room unless you go outside and like from the entrance
Did they put a
lobby?
wall there?
They put a wall there.
I didn't know this. Oh my
So
God.
I
Is this
was
in the
like,
design
I
area
was
or?
like, I said, somebody get me the designs. I need to see why they put a wall here. And then they got me the designs from the architects, and sure enough, there was a wall that was placed there. And I was like, oh no, now we're gonna have the demo crew come out and make the door again. But it's been an interesting process. Some delays in the furniture, some interesting construction stuff. But happy to say everything's looking great. All of the workspace stuff is in. Now we're just waiting on kind of the ancillary furnitures, the couches and the cafeteria tables, and the game lounge area and some of the conference tables. But everything's looking great. Very excited. I think we have about
It's the
40 or so
exercise.
people.
It's part of our exercise regiment. You have to walk around to get to the meeting room.
Yes, exactly. We have about 40 people that are currently in the studio, and then everyone else should be phasing in over the next, I would say, 2 to 3 weeks. I know that Zim is hard at work getting everything planned there. That guy is a
Powerhouse.
absolute powerhouse stud. He is
I love
amazing.
Zim.
Zim is couldn't give more kudos to Zim. He has done a lot of work and he has been
I've known
bearing a
him
lot
for
of
like
the load. Yeah.
15 years now, probably at this
Wow,
point.
yeah.
He's awesome. He's just a great dude too. Like outside of being a badass when it
And
comes to work.
a great D&D player. I mean, just he's
He's so
very
funny. I feel so bad for him. He plays in a D&D campaign with me and he has a rogue who just in combat just rolls daddy ones like crazy and he just rolls with it. I feel so bad. But out
I
of
think the
combat,
last
he like is great for the party. He does a lot of awesome
I
stuff.
think the last session we had in Pathfinder, his character was a I think he was a human rogue as well,
Yeah, but
and
he had better luck
he got
then.
knocked out. Well, he got knocked out and was like captured by a pirate crew and was on a ship, and then the ship got attacked by like some kraken, and I think he's like in the middle of the sea somewhere right now. But anyways,
Sounds like
so
Zim. I can
yeah,
see that.
exactly. But no, things are going great on the studio move-in. Things are also going good on the recruiting and hiring front. We've had multiple new employees starting over the last month alone. Some great new faces on the team that we're very excited to have. And then also looking forward, Alpha 1 has been going very good. We've been getting a lot of data, a lot of information, a lot of areas that we want to focus on well, we're starting to focus on already, but also post Alpha 1, that we have some great ideas to sit down with the design teams and take a look at some of our systems and mechanics and documentation and reevaluate some things and employ some changes. So things are going really good on the studio front. It's an exciting time to be at Intrepid.
Yeah, it's very exciting. It's been cool for me too, being able to see all the new folks as well. Because you know, we've been in
Oh yeah,
lockdown forever. So
I
meeting
know.
people face to face is so weird. Even my own staff, like we've been on camera, obviously, but like we've kind of got to meet a little bit at the, 4th of July party. So finally being able to at least see some
Oh, that
people.
4th of July party was
Yeah,
fun.
it was so nice. And our team has just grown, even from like the
Yeah.
last time. It's crazy. Half the people are like new people.
I
But
know.
on that front, let's move on to design as you kind of segued over there.
Yeah.
I know we have a video, but maybe you want to talk a little bit about Alpha One
Sure.
and what data has been like helpful for the team and kind of how you guys are utilizing that and making changes.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, as many of you know, because we've spoken about this so often, Alpha 1 is not intended to be a content test. So, on the content side, there's really not a lot that we are gleaming out of Alpha 1. However, on a mechanics and systems standpoint, there is a lot of information that we've been taking player feedback from, kind of digging through a lot of the content creators' videos that they've created, watching streams, watching all of the logs and the data that we collect from the test sessions. And kind of iterating upon that, not just planning for post Alpha 1, but also making changes during Alpha 1. That, for example, the video you're going to see here in a little bit is a short video, but I wanted to record it this morning just to give you an idea of how we take feedback and we incorporate change, right? So for example, on the combat front, obviously this was an important thing that we wanted to start revamping. The engineering team and our design team, specifically, Adam Pipich and Trad Thompson and Brian Ferguson, and they've been working to kind of test some things out that we're going to probably deploy next week with next week's test session. We were hoping to have it done this week, but for those of you who may not understand kind of the process of how like development works and promotion from different branches of the development stream works, first we have to deploy a particular change or changes that we're making in the game to a development branch, and then it moves up based on the QA testing to a stage branch, and then to a production or a release branch, and then that's when the players start to get a feel for things. And we want to make sure that QA's had time to kind of vet the changes, that they're not impacting different areas of the game or causing crashes or having kind of bad performance, right? So one of the changes we're going to see next week is on melee combat, and we've gotten a lot of feedback from players that it's not as desired for combat to lock a player in place as they're performing their melee attacks. Now, some of you who have been following along the Ashes of Creation project will remember back in the APOC days, we initially tested with not having root motion as part of the melee attacks, and a lot of the feedback we got was that things felt very floaty and not impactful. That didn't feel like there was a lot of weight to the melee attacks, and so that's when we kind of changed gears a little bit back then, back to or to a root motion kind of based combat attack, and we got some positive feedback there. We incorporated some kind of lunging attacks and whatnot. Now that we have the current melee attacks in Alpha 1, we're getting feedback again that we want that kind of ability to move. So just to give you preface to this video, it's going to give you a preview kind of next week of what players in Alpha 1 are going to have hands-on testing. And we've presented it in such a way that it's more A/B type testing, so that players who are participating with melee combat can press a hotkey to go back and forth between root motion or this more free flow attack animation, and kind of give us feedback on that difference. And this kind of helps us to tune kind of the combat to get a better idea and a sense of direction on more of the front-facing changes we should see. Now, a lot of the changes, though, to combat, I will say, have been on the back end. And the engineering team has done an amazing job, and design has done a great job kind of converting a lot of the abilities and skills over to this new combat system in the back end. Next step for that is going to be transitioning all of the NPCs and AI off of the old combat system and onto the new back-end combat system, which should drastically improve performance and expand upon the kind of types of functionality that design wants to see and have the ability to utilize when designing encounters and types of NPCs and the AI and how they kind of interact with the players. So this little video is just going to give you it's like 7 minutes long or whatever, but it's going to show you some of the changes between what the old combat with root motion was and what the new combat that we're going to be testing next week will look like, specifically with regards to melee weapons.
All right. I will go ahead and play that, and we'll see you guys in a moment.
Hello, glorious Ashes of Creation community, and welcome to another video inside Alpha 1. I'm excited to show you a little bit of stuff that we've been working on the combat side. You are currently looking at the development branch of Ashes of Creation. For those of you who don't know, Ashes of Creation has multiple branches of development. We call our combat environment our development branch, our stage branch, our production and release branch. For Alpha 1, and those of you who are participating in Alpha 1 as testers, you're currently on our release branch. That's where changes have seen the most amount of quality assurance testing and are solid and stable for us to put out to the public and get feedback on, get testing on. But today I'm going to show you something that has not yet been promoted up to the release branch, and is still under significant testing, but I want to show you some of the directions that we're taking based on feedback from the community with regards to combat, specifically with regards to melee combat. So for those of you who've been watching some of our amazing content creators out there who are streaming and creating YouTube videos around Ashes of Creations Alpha 1, you may have noticed that with melee combat, when a player attacks, they move forward, what we call root motion. Let me see if I can demonstrate this. There you go. So you'll see here, as I'm clicking my Q attack, I am swinging and moving forward with the attack. Now, this essentially creates a little bit of weight for the combat, for the melee weapons, but at the same time, it restricts player input for the ability to kind of change directions and move with a particular target, right? Now I can change kind of the direction I'm moving in when I'm in the middle of these types of attacks, but I don't have complete control over my character as the root motion is occurring. So one of the changes that we are playing with right now is actually going back a little bit, a couple of years to APOC combat, which was the ability for the character to kind of have complete control as they were moving. Now, back then, when we tried this, we got a lot of feedback that it felt very floaty, that wasn't as impactful, you couldn't really feel the weight. And we're going to be playing with some of the dials that help to communicate that weight, such as the visual effects, the audio, screen shake, the animations, the kind of torso twisting and movement. And we're going to try to make that more impactful. But right now, we want to get players' feedback on this change, which will probably get rolled out next week into the live environment, into the release branch of Ashes of Creations Alpha 1. But I'm going to show you a little sneak peek of it today, and those of you who are watching and tuning into the stream can give your feedback in Twitch, go to the forums, go on Reddit, go on Discord, chat about this, and let us know your thoughts on it. So when it gets rolled out to players next week, what we're going to do is we're going to include a hotkey that can be used, and players can kind of A/B test between the root motion melee attacks and the non-root motion melee attacks. So by pressing comma, you'll be able to move forward while swinging your weapon, and this will allow you complete control over your weapon attacks for melee. So let's see what we can do against this little crab dude. Hey buddy, how you doing? Come on over. Uh-oh. There we go. There. So now I can move while swinging on this guy. I can back up. Continue to attack it, and just have complete control over my character while attacking this little crab guy. There we go. Now let me actually switch over. Let me switch over to action. There we go. And let's see if we can find another crab person, or not person, but creature. Sorry. Actually, little known fact, crab creatures are actually people in Ashes. No, I'm just kidding. There we go. So, let's do one. Oh wait, actually, there's like a corrupted dude over here. He might be a little much for me, but I can still play with it. Uh-oh. I keep doing that, I'm so sorry. Alright, here we go. Alright, buddy. Whoa. Oh yeah, he's doing damage to me. Alright, yeah, he's I think he's too much for me. Move, flee. Run! Fly, you fool. So I hope you guys enjoyed a little demonstration of some of the work that's being done currently on the combat system, some of the changes that are being made based on player feedback from Alpha 1. The testers have been doing a great job over the past few weeks, showcasing not only to the community what the progress has been on the development of Ashes of Creation, but also helping to illuminate to us some good ideas and some changes that we want to act on. Always, taking into consideration the player feedback is such an important part of the development process, and we appreciate everybody chiming in for that. And with that, I will see you back on stream shortly.
All right. Well, hope you all enjoyed that. Getting a little sneak
Yeah.
peek, seeing Steven continuing his alt button.
I know. Unfortunately, Alt is my push-to-talk key, and Tab, I was trying to target the creature, so it alt-tabbed me.
I saw a lot of comments in chat, not really many questions necessarily, but
Yeah.
in regards to like a lot of feedback. If you do have feedback, definitely go send that over to us on the forums. Like Steven said, you can post it any platform. We are checking all of those things, but the forums is the best way for us because Toast puts together these amazing reports, and it just makes it easy for us because we own that platform. We can like see the data a little easier than if we're trying to like access data from like a social platform. But obviously we do take feedback from everywhere. Something that you did mention prior to playing the video was that these combat changes, or the combat changes that you guys are working towards, are going to help performance. Can you go into a little bit more detail about like what types of changes help with performance and like maybe how the players will experience that change?
Yeah, it's a little bit on the more technical side, at
People
least
like
when
the
discussing.
technical side, though.
That's true. It kind of has to do with how combat previously we used to create a lot of actors in the game world, and that can be a pretty expensive thing to do. And we moved away from that predominantly when it comes to specific abilities. And obviously, there's still a lot of work to be done to continue to propagate those changes across, not just from the PC ability standpoint, but also onto the NPC side as well. And that's something that's going to be done post Alpha 1 from the design team and from engineering, so that engineering no longer has to support the old ability system and combat system with regards to NPCs. So this specifically when there's a lot of players in a specific area and the server's having to process RPCs and kind of the generation of these abilities, it's not as taxing on the network side to send this traffic, so to speak. So without getting too technical into it, generally from a performance standpoint, we're looking towards massive, players participating in castle sieges, and we have to design the ability system, the combat system, to be most performant in those scenarios. So you may not notice any performance change per se on a single creature or in a group environment. I mean, you might feel it being more responsive, quicker, essentially on activation and seeing it chug a little less. But it's really going to be something that's apparent, especially for those of you who participated in testing over the past 8-9 months as we were leading up into Alpha 1. You've probably seen what you're experiencing now in larger battles, and when we did some castle sieges a few weeks ago, that the responsiveness, there was no lag between key input and the activation of particular abilities, and that it is performing in a much more level way.
And the noise is my gardener in the background. It sometimes falls on the live stream days, so I'm just like, there's nothing I could do about it, homies. But I try to mute myself otherwise. But thank you for giving some more detail to that. I think people love hearing, the minor details than just kind of overarching stuff. Now, obviously, the video that you're seeing and that Steven went over, that's not completely done, not final. We still have a lot of changes that we would make. And if we do decide to go with the new changes, there's some animation changes and things like that we'll be making as well to make it look even better as we move forward. So keep that in mind.
It's important to note that what you're seeing here again is kind of bare bones implementation of this non-root motion melee attack, and it doesn't have a lot of the ancillary components that we call bells and whistles, so to speak, on the base system. So that includes the visual effects and the weapon trailing and the impact effects and the camera, very minute camera shaking and and the audio and the audio attenuation and the split body animation and the torso moving and the there's a lot of components here that need to get touched up essentially or continue to be polished and implemented upon, and that's what's really going to make the combat stand out even more so, at least on the front end, the visual front end of that thing. So right now we're just trying to get a feel from the testers, like which do you prefer? Which is the preferred method of melee combat? Do you like having that, constant control over movement at any given point in time, or do you like the more weighted feeling of that root motion attack? And I think that what we've seen predominantly as feedback from players is they like that more constant control over their character movement. And part of the reason why we're utilizing Alpha 1 to collect information and feedback from the testers, and not just testers, but from the audience, from people who are watching the streams and the content creators create content around Alpha 1, is to have people go on the forums, go on Discord, go on Reddit, go on Twitter, and let us know your thoughts on this, because right now is a very formative part of the creation of the game, and the more players express their opinions on things, the better we're capable of gleaning insight from the preference of our player base. And that's such an important part of the creation of a game, right? Because at the end of the day, we're making this game for you guys. So you might as well come
Kind
and
of for
give
us too,
feedback. Well, I mean, yeah, yes, it's my dream game. It's our dream game. It's our passion. But at the end of the day, we're doing this for you guys, the community. So being involved and convincing your friends to get involved in the discussion, not saying they have to come and buy the game or participate in the alpha, but just watching the updates, watching the development, and having that cool component of having a voice in something rather than just waiting until it's done and it being shoved down your throat. Like, you get to give feedback here, and that's an important part.
Yeah. I think that like the new changes will be something that PvP players will really like too, because it's a lot more control over your character. But we'll see. We'll see, because we used to have it previously, and then we moved to the other one afterwards. So
Yeah.
we're constantly making changes, constantly doing iterations. Now let's talk a little bit about the future. Going into Alpha 2, heading forward, can we talk a little bit about, we've already had some of our teams working towards Alpha 2 already. Can you talk a little bit about what those things are? And then also kind of like after Alpha 1 is complete, what folks can, what they can expect from us. I know you
Sure.
talked a little bit about how we're going to take time, but maybe go into more details about like what that time is going to be spent doing, and then going forward, what they can expect beyond that.
Yeah. So, typically when you think of the term alpha, right, you're thinking that all core systems are in place. And we've kind of split up our alpha into Alpha 1 and Alpha 2. Alpha 1 not quite having every core system in place, but having some of the more integral core systems kind of present and available to be tested early, so that and the reason why we wanted to do it that way is because many of our systems are very interdependent. They're very connected to one another, and there are some very centralized systems such as the node system, combat, general AI, the open world aspect of an Unreal Engine 4 game, the massively multiplayer networking components, performance related server setup and architecture, the distribution of server processes across an open world. Like, those are very fundamentally core systems that we wanted to get in the hands of players in live testing earlier rather than later, and waiting for all of the other ancillary systems that are also core to be present. And that's typically what an alpha refers to, right, is having all core systems in place. But that's really what Alpha 2 will be intended to be. So that's
some
where
alphas have just gray box stuff.
Right. Well,
we
would call those, we would really call those more technical alpha, or vertical slices of a particular system, right? This is our Alpha 1 is a bit more than that, obviously, but it's not quite a full alpha in the sense of having every core system in place, and that's why we have an Alpha 2. because the Alpha 2 is intended to have pretty much every core system in place to some degree or another, not fully fleshed out, not fully contentized, so to speak. But as we leave Alpha 1 and start the trek towards Alpha 2, that's when you're going to start seeing more of the content flow in. That's when you're going to start seeing systems flesh out a little bit more. That's when you're going to start seeing those systems appear in a little bit more of a polished state. And that's when you're going to start getting to this idea of having a kind of fully fleshed out world, because that's the last opportunity in the game's development lifespan before we're hitting those beta milestones, and really that's when all the content should be in place by those betas, and being tested and localized for different markets and whatnot. So as we kind of leave Alpha 1, we're going to spend some time, as I said previously, tearing things apart, iterating based on the feedback and the data that we collected over the month-long alpha. We might have some spot tests after that breakdown period, so to speak, where we invite the Alpha 1 testers back to spot test. And then we might even have some lead-up testing by Alpha 2 players where they join in prior to Alpha 2 in the same way that our Alpha 1 players did for Alpha 1. That's kind of the expectation that should be had.
Awesome. And like I said, we will be doing a recap article that will go out. So if you just check out our website, ashesofcreation.com/news, we will be putting out a recap after Alpha 1. Give us a little time because we want to compile the data and stuff like that. And we will kind of provide you guys information in regards to what data we gathered, what things we're going to be changing and how it's going to affect that. And then also moving forward, what we're going to be working towards. Obviously, Stephen gave you just like a gist of it, but we do want to give you a little bit more detail as well going forward. But with that, if you're ready,
and I just want to say one other thing. It's very important to note that our development takes a little bit different of a course than probably other developments you're accustomed to seeing. I know I've said this multiple times in the past, but we're not beholden to an investment group. We're not beholden to a publisher. So at the end of the day, our focus is making a very good product, and that takes time. And early on in our company, I made some miscalculations on what that time was going to be. But at the end of the day, I always said we would take the time necessary in order to produce a product, a game that answers the call of players and makes you guys proud as well as us. And hopefully along that time period over the progress of our development, because we do monthly, literally every month we've done development updates where you get to see the progress, and now you're at a state where you get to play the progress or you get to see others play the progress. That's an important part of keeping you guys assured that, hey, we are doing the work that's necessary and we are taking the feedback that you guys are giving in order to create a very good game, and we're showing you every step of the way. Especially now with the NDA having been dropped, you don't have to see curated videos, even though we never really curated videos.
Yeah,
so
I was like, all the videos that we've shared are pretty much just live plays of us playing. That's why whenever anyone says like, oh, they're going to render it, I was like, yeah, that's just how you render a video, but that's not like we don't edit anything. This is just purely the gameplay. Even the Alpha 1 trailer, I don't see a lot of people put out trailers with actual gameplay footage. It's usually all like cinematic stuff. We showed like actual gameplay to you too. So.
I remember when we did that dragon video and I was introducing people, and Peter was like, good as two. And then he was like, are we going to re-record? And I was like, nope, we're going with it. And he was like, oh, okay, we're doing it. I was like, yep. Remember that? Oh, so gosh. Good. I remember the video before that, or I don't even know if it was that video, but like, I recorded once and the recording failed. Recorded twice, the recording failed. 3 times, recording failed. The 4th time, I was like, please let this recording work.
Yeah, so was the rest of us, because that was 4 hours later.
I know. But I mean, I hope you guys see we go through sometimes painstaking efforts to keep you guys updated with the development process and give you guys a look. And by
recording being the problem, it was not the game. It was
No,
literally
it was my
Steven's
recording
Steven's
software.
recording
It was
program.
my recording software. It was unfortunate. But anyways, no, we go through painstaking process, and Maggie and Sarah and the community team do a great job in helping to, especially uh, offload the bulk of this work from prior to hiring Maggie and Sarah. Oh my gosh, let me tell you, that was another source of headache for me, and just a monumental task, and
I
it's
think
only
because of the
grown.
way you want to, Stephen.
I
You want
know.
like people to have like
I know.
this interaction with everyone. Like you want like
I
every
know.
person to be answered. And I'm like,
I
you personally cannot do that. That is
I know.
nuts. Please
But now I
let us
have you
take that
guys, so
on.
it's okay.
Yeah.
But yes, anyways, just to let you guys know, like this process, this time that it takes to build a game, it's done so in a way that ensures the quality of the product at the end stage is going to be where you want it to be. So appreciate the patience, appreciate you guys, giving your feedback and following along, these years, and know that we're going in the right direction. And I think we're creating a beautiful masterpiece at the end of the day. So.
And please be kind to the community team. Peter on social, Adam on CS, Sarah and Cody on the community front. They are the frontliners for us. And I think, just be kind to them. They're definitely trying their best to interact with every single person that's out there. And, I do my best to just kind of manage everything. So we're doing what we can. And we hope that we give you guys, even with, our small team, like a AAA experience that
Yeah.
you don't get from anywhere else. All right. Going to move on to all of the amazing art that our teams have been working on. So first and foremost, we're going to head on over to environment, which, first up we have concepts art. Now, here's the thing. You're going to look at this concept art and then you're going to see the models coming up afterwards and you're going to be like, what's the difference? That's how amazing our artists are, because here's all the concepts, okay? They're going to just keep rolling in, and then I'm going to show you what the actual models look like. So these are like our fountains, our braziers, our weapon racks, banners, like the banner posts that you're going to see, gallows, I think that's a gallows right there, the podium, and a riser and stuff like that. So these are all things that are going to help make the world feel, more like a world. And obviously, when it comes to nodes and how nodes build up, we really want them to not be the same. Every time you go in there, like you have like different buildings being placed, different types of layouts and things like that. So really what we need to do is be able to create a lot of these things. Now, if you
Just
haven't,
just to be clear,
oh,
did you
go
say
ahead.
gallows?
Gallows,
As in
yes.
like where people are like executed and hung?
Yes. Yeah,
Holy smokes, that's dark.
I know. Well, there's also some,
But don't they just get reborn at the nearest respawn point?
maybe, I don't know. Is there a way to
I'm just
like
kidding.
forever permadeath? Like
Yeah, that's a good question.
in some
Like in
games there.
galaxies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot where I was going with that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so like the nodes, basically, we want to make sure that the world feels different every time, and I think that what goes into that is really building up all of the different buildings and items and objects that get placed. And some of these you'll be able to place yourself in your own house or on your own freehold. So keep that in mind as well. You might see variants of this that are for players as well. On that front, if you haven't checked out our dev diaries, we do have a dev diaries that goes over how buildings are created and also how our nodes are systematically on the back end, tech wise. So if you're interested in that kind of nitty gritty stuff, go check those out. We're going to be bringing some more dev diaries in the future as well, which I'm really excited about. We've been preparing like the storyboards for those for when we're all back in the office, so we can start recording again. I missed that. That was so fun.
I know.
So now I'm going to show you the actual assets. So this is a Dunir fence. So, a lot of people are asking like, how will I corral my creatures or my mounts and stuff like that? You're going to have fencing that you can place down and stuff.
Yeah.
Exciting. So
You get to
seeing some of
have
this come online.
different structures based on the advancement of a particular animal husbandry component of a freehold system, and that's going to advance as you advance the freehold building for animal husbandry, which expands the types of creatures you'll be able to actually husband. Wait,
Husband
husbandry? I don't.
breed. I think
Oh,
it's
breed. Okay. Well, that just seemed very coarse kind of word.
it does seem like a coarse
Yeah.
kind of word for sure. And then here are the banners and the banner posts. These are Dunier ones and Empyrean ones, and you saw the concept art. Now look, tell me what the difference is between the concept art and this 3D model. Like
Yeah,
I
it looks
don't
great.
know. They're so good.
We're not going to see any actual people hanging from the gallows in this, right?
No, not in
Oh,
this
okay, very
video
good.
here.
Very good. Not in this video, but next video maybe. I'm just kidding.
Well, we have shown like
Oh, I
mummified
know.
people
We've
and
shown
stuff.
mummified spider-eaten people.
Yeah, Steven was very uncomfortable about it.
I was like, bacon, no!
Oh, they're in the world. You could see them.
I know.
Next up, we've got some cool fireplaces, braziers, candle holders, and these are, I believe, Kalar and Empyrean versions. So, oh, look at that little
Oh, that's a
fireplace.
good idea.
It's so
What if
pretty.
when people get banned for botting or like RMTing or gold buying or
Okay.
selling, that they get hung on their character when banned is hung on the gallows in like the center of town square for
I'm
like a
horrified,
day or
Steven.
something. No, I'm just saying like that's not a bad
The
idea.
chat's like, yes.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I'm telling you, we got to think
The
about that
problem
one.
is then people will do that just so they can get that
I
notoriety.
mean,
You realize.
well,
Yeah, see,
it's
you're
true.
yeah. They're promoting. This is why we shouldn't promote. Yeah, that's a whole other conversation.
What if their name is not shown? So they don't get the notoriety, but their character's there.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, we'll have to think about
We'll
that one.
talk about it. Here's also some statues. These are really beautiful. So I believe these are Kalar statues, but Stephen, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, those
They
are
look
Kalar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very nice.
They're so pretty.
Great statues. Who did these statues?
I don't have the name.
User joined your channel.
Aw.
User left your channel.
I'm gonna
Sorry,
guess.
Twan joined us for a moment.
I'm gonna guess Hal.
Hal.
That's my guess, but I don't know.
And then we have some miscellaneous ones here. I'll put in my notes in the future who made each one, so like I can have the answer for you.
Did somebody join our live stream?
Yeah,
channel?
it was Twan. He meant to join the live ops channel, and he joined our channel. So we have Empyrean podium, these amazing windows, which are also Empyrean windows. Look how gorgeous those windows are. I never thought I'd be talking about how gorgeous windows are, but they're gorgeous. And then we have the Kalar bridge and the weapon rack. But you're seeing some of these things like in-game versus the model, and honestly, I can't tell, or versus the concept art. I can't tell the difference. So great job to our environment team. They are killing it. Amazing job to our concept art team, who has just been pumping out concept art left and right. Some of these are work in progress, obviously, so keep that in mind as we're moving forward. You're going to see different iterations of these, but I always like showing you guys kind of like the process. Moving on to character art. This guy is so cute. This is the dredge horn. This part's my favorite because I get to see a lot of stuff I designed come to life, and I'm like,
this guy's so cool. I like the little hairs on his skin.
Yeah, I was like, I want him to have little spiky bits, like little hairy frog hair bits.
Look at him.
He's so cool. I love like the spout,
I love the horn.
how it turned out.
Yeah.
It's just so freaking good. Ugh, I can't get
his neck reminds me, I told you, of the Slan from like Lizardman Army. I used to play Warhammer Fantasy a lot of tabletop, and the Slans were like the big mages of the armies or whatever, and their neck kind of looks a little bit like that.
Next up, we've got the polywagon, which is a different type of frog, and you can kind of see like the body is a little different, but we're using like the same. It kind of allows us to use similar body shapes and animations, which helps us make more creatures faster. But this is looking sick.
I can't wait to see the animation for him with that caravan on his back. Yeah, the caravan. I don't know.
Or he like sticks, like sticky legs.
Yeah, I have to do probably the sticky leg.
Yeah, sticky leg.
Physics might get a little weird if he's hopping.
He starts hopping, but it kind of be fun to like be like a little like bouncing around.
Yeah, that'd be a rough ride. That'd be a rough ride.
Would be a rough ride. Next up, we have our hefty capling. Ooh, you get a booty shot to start with here. I can't tell the difference between this and concept art, really. Like,
is that a booty? Do mushrooms have butts? Do they have like
I don't know, but he looks like he's got a booty.
Maybe that's just his root system. Like he has two different roots.
Two different booty roots.
Yeah, booty roots. I like him
Oh,
though.
it's
He's
too
cool.
cute. He's adorable. I was like, I want him to be like evil looking, but cute. And
I
I
love
think
the
because he
cap.
doesn't have a mouth, yeah. The cap is cool.
He does. He looks like he has a little tiny mouth right in the center of his eyes.
Nope,
No?
no mouth.
What is that? Is it just a nose then?
It's just the speckles
Or
on
just
his
a
body.
speckle?
Yeah, he's got little speckles.
Aw.
Next up, we have the terror bird. And if you don't mind kind of chatting a little bit about this guy, I'll be right back really quick.
Yeah, sure, not a problem.
Yeah.
So this is a bird, and he's definitely a terror. Like he's scary to a degree. You can tell he's a bird because he has some feathers there. Feathers on his like as hands, right? Also his beak is kind of bird-like. So it's a beautiful bird. But it's like if a dinosaur had become a bird, but not quite yet a bird fully, so it's still kind of dinosaur-esque, which is the terror part of the bird. So he's a terror bird because of the dinosaur-esque elements. And that's a very important part of being a terror bird. But you'll also notice that he has a saddle and some reins, and that's important because then people get to ride the terror bird, and that makes him a mount. So he's a mount terror bird. So there you go.
Mount terror bird.
Yes, I've successfully explained the entire concept of how he's a mount terror bird while you were gone.
Oh gosh, I'm gonna have to rewatch that. But I love seeing like the different iterations of the creatures, and like I think this is so cool looking.
No, it is very cool looking, and I believe Jinsey did this, yeah. I think this is.
Yeah, I think this
Jinsey.
is Jinsey.
Yeah.
Jinsey is just.
No, I really
one
love
day
the
we'll get her on the stream.
I love the colors. To be fair, though, when I see its wings, I think of like buffalo wings, like I would eat that. You know what I mean? So almost I'd want to hunt this creature. But at the same time, it's very beautiful. So I would want to capture it as well.
You know what? Why don't we have in our culinary stuff, we have like little terror wings?
Oh, that's a good question.
Spicy
One of the
terror
taverns
rings.
might have some spicy terror rings.
Which race would make the spicy terror rings, though?
Probably either the Tulnar or the Vec, I would say.
Interesting. Vec, really? I feel like Vec are like very smart and sophisticated. Almost.
Oh, they are very smart, but they might have a thing against terror birds because you would imagine that having kind of been localized to the more mountainous regions and areas, they probably are at odds with many of the avian species.
Okay, fair.
Right, and because of that, they might have vendettas to serve, so to speak, against those avian species of all kinds, particularly those who derive from more dinosaur-esque looking backgrounds, because they likely ate some Vec.
I don't think this guy
in their
flies.
ancestor. No, he definitely doesn't. But he's going there. You know what I mean? And they want to prevent that species from continuing to evolve into an avian predator that might then pluck them off the tops of these mountains and eat them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Awesome. Moving on to the next one here, we've got our crystalline revenant. Now this, I believe, is still work in progress, but look how cool he's looking.
He's looking pretty cool. It looks like he got hit with a fireball straight
he's
to
missing
the
his,
chest.
because it's a little gem thing that's in there. I think it's going to be particle effect, probably.
Oh, nice.
But
So he's like an Iron Man-esque looking.
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't say that, but
he doesn't look like Iron Man at all. So I think
no, I know. But you
people
said
get
that
the
he was
concept.
missing a thing in the chest.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
This was part of one of our December sets that I helped design, and it's cool. He looks cool.
He looks chill.
Yeah.
Somebody
he
said
looks
he
like
looks chill.
I'm imagining him as like a little pet. So cute.
He looks like a walking ice cave.
True. Like you could just live inside his chest or something.
Live inside of his chest. Maybe he's big enough that you can just be coddled inside the chest cavity.
Can you imagine like a little?
Have like little reins where you'd like control him from inside. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
That would actually be kind of cool. Now I want like there to be like a golem or some kind of.
What
like,
if that
living
like
in
a
there.
siege, like a castle siege, you could summon a giant version of this as a golem, and like as the summoner, you just climb up into the cavity and just like direct the thing to
Don't
walk
get me
towards the
excited,
wall.
Steven. That
and
sounds
it just
amazing.
like slams into the wall. Oh, that'd be so cool.
Well, now we have to do that. Like, that sounds awesome. So this next creature is one that everyone calls the Snorse, but it is called the Wisp Whelk. And now you're going to see it being created.
The Snorse.
The Snorse. I thaught you were going to be like, no, Maggie, what are you creating this monstrosity? But you were actually excited about it.
Yeah.
Because originally, when I
This is
sent
like a
over the design,
win-win.
I was like, I want a horse and a snail to have a baby. So.
And the great thing from a production standpoint is this can use the skeletal rig of the horse with some adaptation. But that's always a good thing. I'm sure the animators were very happy with that.
They were excited, I know, to see what would come of this. We actually have a turntable of this as well, obviously in a T-pose. That's why his tail is like sticking out. I just love the idea of, and I've talked about this before, of just like seeing something like slugging along and then all of a sudden, and you get up to it and it just stands up and starts chasing you. It just sounds horrifying and I love every bit of it.
I really want the like spacebar animation for this guy to be where he kind of sits down on top of his legs to the point where they disappear.
Yeah.
And he just looks like a snail without the legs.
Yeah.
That'd be cool, like spacebar animation.
And then he like stands up and you're like,
and then he stands up and you're like, what is this monstrosity?
And like, you know how slugs or snails like leave like a little trail behind them? It's got to leave like a little gross slug trail behind it. Yeah. All right. Anyways,
cool.
Moving on from there, we're going to move into some costumes. So we've got our Wrath's Legacy here, and it's looking pretty amazing. I think this is from like 2018. A while ago.
Yeah, this was a while ago, but it's looking great. Don't we
I
have
love
like a
the
little...
axe.
Does it turn side to side a little bit? Oh, there it goes.
Yeah, I have a turntable too of it, so I will share that in a moment. I just wanted to share the stills
I
first.
love the horns, the helmet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to mention what it reminds me of, but it reminds me of something, and
Okay.
I think it looks really cool.
It's extremely cool. But look how awesome that is. Pretty sick. I can't wait to see like NPCs in the world that we place utilizing some of these and some variants of them.
Oh yeah.
And last
Did
but
you
not
say?
least-
I'm sorry. What?
and some variants of them.
What?
Variants?
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Did I say it
No.
right?
No, you said it right, but I don't think you've seen it yet. So go ahead.
Okay.
I'll tell you after the stream.
Okay. I'm scared. Everyone else is laughing. I'm such an innocent soul. I don't know what's happening right now. Okay.
No. It's neither innocent nor guilty. It's just,
Okay. All right.
it's just funny.
Next up we have here this beautiful armor piece. This is a Kalar plate armor. I believe it's tier 5, but it's still work in progress, so it's not
Now,
completely done yet.
This is an important one because this is an example of in-game achievable armor sets. And I know many times people say, we've seen a lot of the cosmetic development and production, and that's because we have a significant backlog, obviously, of those things, and they're an important part of making the world, right? But here's an example of player character armor that can be achieved in game, just to give you an idea comparatively of what these armors look like against the cosmetics. And it's a very important aspect that when we offer these cosmetics, that these skins that can be applied to armors, that the in-game achievables are actually the best type of looking armors you can achieve, right? Or are comparable, at least, at the very least. Because a lot of times in the games that I've played, they incentivize people to make those cosmetic, shop purchases by making the in-game achievables trash tier looking.
Yeah.
And that is not the case with Ashes. So here's an example. You can take a look. One of many that'll soon be coming out. We'll be showing more of.
We've shown quite a few.
Yeah, I know
too.
we've shown a lot.
We don't want to
just see
show
it,
too much too, because we do want you guys to like get excited and experience things too in the game.
Yes, but that's important because as I go across Reddit and I read people who are uninformed about the game, they're like, "Oh, there's so many cosmetics, and it's going to make the in-game stuff look, cheap and not good." That's not the case. You see it here. There are 4,600 people watching this stream right now. When you see other people say that, you can clip this or you can point to this image.
Show them past
and you can
videos.
say that's not the
tons.
case. Exactly.
Yeah. We've shown off a few. But yeah, this is not the case. I mean, have you seen our artists? I don't think anything they
That's
make is
true.
going to be bad.
That is true. Good. That's true. It's true.
But yeah, I love this. This looks so cool. I like the cloak, how it has like that like a little like tear.
You know,
in it.
the face does remind me a little bit of Shredder,
Yeah,
but
people keep saying that.
I know. But to be fair, I thought Shredder looked badass, so that's okay.
It's true. It does. The armor itself overall looks very different than that. But I can see where people are going with it. And now I know what people were talking about previously. And no, I have not gotten to see that yet because I've been working on Alpha 1 crazy hours. So that
Wait,
is
what?
why.
Shredder?
No, the
That was
previous
like 20
one. Wait.
years ago.
No, the
Oh.
previous.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, that's true.
Okay. I think that's it for this. So we're going to move into our Q&A segment, and we'll just play the video that Stephen had provided us for the design segment whilst we get through these questions. So let me.
I think, how many questions do we have? Because we might
10 questions.
10 questions. Okay,
But-
I'm going to try to rapid round the
Okay.
questions.
I will ask them quick, rapid round. Let's see how
Yes.
quickly
And
we
if
can
I
do.
make any mistakes, I'll correct them afterwards.
Sounds good. Sunscript from the forum wants to know about node buildings. What happens to materials gathered and contributed to build a node building if the mayor decides to scrap the project?
They are lost. Next question.
Dave N wants to know keybinds. Will we be able to trigger skills with combinations of different keystrokes and reuse the same keys as part of different combinations?
Yes.
Diego MF wants to know about corruption. If I damage a fellow player, but then let the mob they're fighting finish them off, will I gain any corruption?
No.
This is an exploit people have been like asking about, actually.
So it's important to note that the idea is going to be that unless a player is in your party, alliance, guild, or raid, that you will not have definitive knowledge of their exact hit point values. So when you do something that's sketched like that, where you want to bring them close to death and let a monster finish them off, you are taking the risk of overhitting and actually gaining the corruption. So that's, but it's something obviously we're going to test.
Yeah, and right now you can see everyone's health bars to some extent.
Correct.
So, which won't be what it will be like in Endgame.
Correct.
Doken wants to know about sprinting. Will sprinting be based on stamina/time, or will we be able to run forever like in the current Alpha 1 testing?
I've instructed design to incorporate a mana consumption that's percentage based for sprinting. So it'll be a similar amount of time that each class, regardless of their mana values, will have in order to sprint, and it will not be accessible while in a combat. So that will be implemented later, and again, something we will be testing with.
And Nodalis wants to know, and of course, I'm sorry if I pronounce anyone's names wrong, about fishing. Do you plan to keep fishing location-based? Find the sparklies like other harvesting we've seen during Alpha 1, or will I be able to fish anywhere in any water?
So it's important to note that there will be multiple types of fishing. There will be a more sports-oriented fishing, which may include some type of mini game as part of in order to fish that will have higher rewards, and those will be primarily location-based. Sparklies that are currently you seeing in Alpha 1, the whole gathering component of Alpha 1 is not the intended gathering for the actual game. You will not be seeing sparklies on resources and out in the world. That's just a kind of gap measure right now so that we can indicate to players, because we haven't had time to implement the actual UI and the actual gathering systems in place. So there won't be sparkles. And then additionally, there will be a type of fishing where you can fish with any water, but that will be a much more lower form of fishing that will yield much lesser types of rewards.
Awesome. Yeah. I think we've kind of answered some of that in the past as well. Maybe not that specific question, though. Frog Night Songer wants to know about religion. Will we be able to worship the others and build temples for them in a divine node?
No, you won't be able to build temples in divine. No, you won't be able to build a temple to the others in divine nodes. And you will not be able to worship them in the same way that the primary religions have worship. However, there will be quest paths that do take you along a more darker route, which can lead to certain types of worship for the others.
Ooh. All right. Alex Xavier wants to know about projectiles. Will projectiles be separated from their respective weapons? Example, will I need to buy/craft arrows for my bow?
That is a good question that we're still discussing in design, so I don't have an answer yet for you.
Okay. And Magic Man wants to know about ships. How early into our adventure will we be able to own a ship?
That's a good question. I would say probably around like level 10 or 15, you may have certain quests that navigate you towards creating a small personal vessel, one of the smallest types of ships that you can have. I would say that's probably around the time frame that we would introduce characters to naval gameplay.
Cool, cool. And Ravuda wants to know about item transfers. Are players restricted from transferring materials / resources between alts through freehold storage, similar to the restrictions on warehouse storage?
Um, if the question is with regards to materials, I would say no. You will be able to have alts be part of your access requirements or settings on housing and or storage within that housing.
Okay, cool. And Jalan wants to know combat pets.
But
If
again, to be
oh,
clear,
sorry, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, to be clear, that storage is localized, so it's not going to be advantageous in the sense that I could then use an alt to transfer or move materials by accessing it from another storage container. So, yeah, go ahead.
Thank you for clarifying. Jalan wants to know about combat pets. If you have to invest some portion of your power into having a combat pet, how soon after it dies will that power be returned to you?
That's a good question. I think the power gets delegated as the combat pet is summoned, right? As the
So when
combat
it
pet
despawns, it
is
would.
when it despawns, you would presumably, and again, this is subject to testing, you'd presumably be receiving that power back immediately.
And, summoning a pet, you can't just like insta
Right.
necessarily. And one last question is from Kibs or Kibis, and they want to know about gear. What are your plans to keep old gear relevant / useful after new expansion releases? And I like this question.
Yeah. So a big component of gear usefulness or relevancy as either you're progressing or as expansions come out or whatnot is that there is a deconstruction method associated with gear. And that deconstruction can provide very specific and necessary crafting materials that can only be achieved through deconstruction of certain types of gears. And then additionally, as we kind of consider expansions and additional itemization paths and tiers going forward, all gear is going to remain relevant within the tiers that they exist, right? So from a progression standpoint, as you achieve access to different types of tiers, those gears are still going to have relevancy within that tier.
Awesome. And that is going to wrap it up. You did pretty good. That was pretty quick, Stephen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. You did a good job. And with that, we're going to be wrapping up our live stream for July. It has been a crazy month for us. We're very excited to have lots of people testing with us. We know that we have a long journey ahead of us towards, Alpha 2 as well. And we appreciate all of the feedback that you guys have sent us. Continue to send us feedback on the forums and all of the social platforms. You can find us at Ashes of Creation everywhere. If you're watching live right now, we are going to wrap up the giveaway. So thank you for joining the giveaway. You got your last few seconds. All you have to do is type in Alpha 1 and be following us right here, and you will get DM'd. We'll be DMing the winners here shortly. If you don't win there, don't worry. We also will have an opportunity on YouTube, or if you didn't get to watch this live, if you're watching right now on YouTube, leave a comment down below on why you think you deserve Alpha 1 key and Alpha 1 key. And also make sure that you're subscribed to our channel so that we can grant you the reward on your account. We'll be picking 10 winners on August 2nd in regards to that, and you'll be able to join us starting August 5th for our Alpha 1. Reminder that we do have a new dev discussion and guild gathering coming up in August, and we really, really implore you all to give us your feedback. We'll be also compiling the feedback from those other threads from July coming up here soon, so get your feedback in as quickly as possible so that we can snag those up. And of course, the August cosmetics are going to be swapping over on August 4th at 11 a.m. Pacific for the new set. I did tease a little bit of one of the items, and people seem really excited about the pet for next month. It's very nature themed. And of course, there's an Alpha 1 playtest happening right now. Reminder that Alpha 1 will continue until August 13 at 11 a.m. Pacific. So please join us if you can. And if you can't, come watch other people's content. A lot of people, there's no longer an NDA. You can watch on YouTube, you can watch on Twitch. Give us your feedback just from as a viewer perspective too. We would love to hear what you have to say and like what kind of feedback you'd like to send our way. That's one of the reasons why we lifted the NDA, is because we do want other people to be able to see, genuine experience from players who have been helping us test. And with that, thank you. We'll be putting this video up on YouTube as well as it will be right here on Twitch as soon as we wrap up. And, just follow us in all of the places at Ashes of Creation. Super easy to find us. And we will see you next month for another update as well as some goodies along the way. So stay tuned at ashesofcreation.com/news.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye. Have a great weekend.